This represents the explanations of lesson 2.2. Sorry, I've done like 8 videos in a row. I got a little thirsty. Here we go. So question 1. Oh yeah, the pluses and minuses. This is a positive 5, positive 10. My answer should be positive. They work together because they are the same and make 15 altogether. Yes, finally something different. Positive 4, negative 5. The winner should be the negative because there's 5 of them. If they were competing, the negatives would win by 1. Negative 3, positive 8. The bigger number is 8 and is positive. If they were competing, the positives would win by 5. Negative 5, positive 9. They would be positive because the 9 is bigger. And if they were competing, the positives would have won by 4. Negative 1, negative 2, because everything is negative, it must be negative, but they agree with each other, which means 1 and 2 make 3 altogether, because remember they do work together on that one. Alright, now we get into the material for the day. What value is with z? Z is right next to 23. I do not need a plus, it's just a regular 23. The operation being shown because there is no symbol is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication will be division. What value is with q? It is a 22. Because there's nothing attached, it means it's multiplication, and the opposite of multiplication is division. What is with s? S is right next to 17, so 17 is with s. The operation being shown here, because there's nothing at all showing up, is multiplication, and multiplication leads to the opposite of division. The value with y is 23. The operation between these two is multiplication. The opposite of multiplication is division. Then we get into some review. Who's with m? M is with 75. Sorry, positive 75, because it is being added. The operation being shown here, if you remember, is addition because it's m plus 75. And the opposite of addition is, if you remember, subtraction. The value with j in this case is a positive 84. The operation being shown here is addition. The opposite of addition is subtraction. The value with w here is a negative 69. The operation, because that's a minus, is subtraction. The opposite of subtraction is addition. The value with m is negative 43. That is a subtraction symbol, and so we undo that with an addition symbol. Who's with x is 21. Now here's where you have to be careful, because again, this is not what we saw yesterday or the day before or in the other lesson. In order to move a x that is, or number that is being attached by multiplication, we must divide. So we come down here and we use divided by 21. So again, that's 21x. If I want to get rid of it, I must divide both sides by 21. When I do that, the only thing that comes down over here is x. I think that's going to be 8 times that it fits. Again, if you don't know, do calculator. 168 divided by, that's what divided by is, 21 equals 8. I don't know why I did that. And there you go. Who's with k? In this case, again, 17. Because 17 is with k through multiplication, I must move it using division. So divide by 17 here, which means I must also divide by 17 here. There is no shortcut for the division symbol. Number times 7 that makes it 2 is 6. And remember that if you divide, 17 goes away, k comes down, and that is that. 16w equals 224. The value with w is 16. If I want to move this 16 and it's being multiplied, because remember that's multiplication, I need to do divided by 16. 16 here, and divided by 16 over here. Those two 16s go away. W comes down. 224 divided by 16, I believe, is 9. No, probably 19. Knowing my luck. Let's do it the right way. We do get to miss it 3 times. 224 divided by 16. It must be 13. I bet. 14. Oh, that's right. Doesn't hurt to mess up. Makes you better. And the more you do it, the better you get at it. K. The value with K is 23. If I want to move this 23 and it's being multiplied, I must do divided by 23 here and divided by 23 here. 207 divided by 23 is 9. I still got it. Here, the value with B is 20 because that's what's right next to it. If I want to move this 20 and it's being multiplied, I must divide by 20 and divide by 20. Again, I just kind of left it there. Here, when you do that, B comes down. I think this is 11. The value with R is 17. If I want to move this 17 because it's being multiplied, I must divide by 17 and divide by 17. The number that ends in 1, that'd be 3, so 13, I believe. Yeah, it's got to be 13 because 10 17s and make 170, be about 3 more. So R would come down here because the 17s would go away. And there we go. The value with Z is a positive 71. If I want to move this 71, remember, if I want to move a plus 71, I must put minus 71 here and minus 71 over there. You could also use that symbol down there. Remember that subtracting 71, those two go away, bringing down just Z, and that gives me, I believe, 71, because that's double 71 there. The value with U here is positive 87. If I want to move this positive 87, I must do minus 87 here and minus 87 here. That would be, I think, 62. And U. And if you're wondering how I get the answers so fast, it's because I've been doing math longer than you've been alive. I've actually been teaching longer than you've been alive. And so after a while, you kind of just see it. The value with G is negative 44. Of course, you don't do that if you always use a calculator. You have to use your head sometimes too and not be afraid to miss it. So the more you kind of guess what you think it is, eventually you kind of start getting them right. Minus 44, if I want to move that minus 44, remember I must use a plus 44 and a plus 44. That would end in, I think, 70. So G comes down. Those two things go away with a 70. The value with R here is a negative 31. If I want to move this negative 31, I must put positive 31 here and positive 31 over there. That makes 58, I believe. Remember, when you do that, everything over there goes away except for the R, giving us that answer. And that does represent the end of chapter 2.2 lesson. Again, thanks for working with me. Be sure to ask any questions if you have them. I hope this is starting to kind of sink in because things are going to get interesting starting tomorrow.